Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danny D, and I am the owner of Workflow. And with Workflow, I help small business owners create their luxury brand and connect to their ideal client so that they can have meaningful connections, increase their revenue, but also so that they can work with ease. So I also help them with their systems and processes so things become easier and that they're not bogged down by their business so that they can enjoy the rest of their life. And that's kind of how this podcast originated because it's just kind of a running joke about me always being in my pajamas. That's my preferred state of being. And so, just being able to run two businesses in my PJs and be comfortable, be relaxed, enjoy my family, enjoy my life, travel when I want to, and still be a successful business owner. So I wanted to share some of those philosophies with other people because what I see a lot of the time is that as business owners, we're told that everything has to be about the hustle and everything has to be about being on the grind and you got to be, ever vigilant. And, it's just this always in this, the kind of phase that you are as a startup should end at some point, right? It shouldn't be what carries you through. At a certain point, you should be able to level out and you should be able to find some peace within your business. And, you again may have a little bit of that hustle in growth moments or when other things happen in your business, unexpected things, but that should not be your daily existence. And we don't, whether you're a business owner or whether you work a 9 to 5, we need to be really mindful of how well we take care of ourselves. And I'm just, very anti that rat race culture because it's not healthy for us in the long run. So today, what I want to talk to you about is what I'm calling the R's of maintaining your peace. Also, just when you are in a position where there is that growth moment, or there's something that happens, unusual influx in your business, whatever it may be, that kind of knocks you off your block, and you have to really get yourself recentered. And so I'm just going to call this the R's of recentering yourself in your business. So the reason why I wanted to come on and talk about this is a lot of times because of, my demeanor and my nature, people think, oh, well, nothing bad happens, to her or in her business or in her life. And that can't be farther from the truth. Like that is so far from the truth. But the way that I am, I focus a lot on positive and positive energy because I feel like the energy that you give is going to determine how things are set up in your life. So when you are leaning into negativity, then you're going to see more negativity. When you're leaning into stress, then you're going to become more stressed. That's just a big belief of mine. That doesn't mean that if you are a positive person that you never have negative things happen to you. That's not how that works. You have negative things happen to you, you experience those things, but you also have to be able to put those things in perspective, because to me, if you wallow in those things, if you give them more than they deserve, then it starts to turn in that direction of negativity. So then all you see is negativity. Then it's, that snowball effect of, oh my God, what else can go wrong? And, a few of my really close friends know that I say, what else can go right? Because we commiserate on the things that go wrong, but when things are going right, we don't add those things up. We don't say, oh, well, this one right thing happened, so another right thing might be about to happen. We don't have that perspective. So that's where I'm coming from with this. And I you know it I didn't have this in the schedule for one of the episodes, but recently, last month was a crazy month. Like, a lot of stuff happened last month, both personally, in the business. And, some of it was good, some of it was bad, but it was definitely a kind of like shake up, situation. So just to give you a quick summary, we're not going to get too deep into that, but, and the funny thing is that when I was thinking about summarizing this, I don't even remember some of the stuff. So that's the other reason why I feel like, don't give too much weight to, some of the things that are happening that may be shaking you up at the moment, because a month from now, 6 months from now, you're not going to even remember that thing happened. But we had an influx in business. The corporate accounts have, come back, which is amazing. But that happened at the same time that we were traveling with my son for his robotics team, and we were dealing with some issues, in the house. And, it's just a lot happening at one time. And again, some were good things, some were bad things. It wasn't that it was just, gloom and doom or anything, but it just was a lot. And sometimes in that moment, you have that feeling of overwhelm. And also in that moment, I shared on, I think, one of my lives on my business page. In that moment, also, sometimes when you start to get overwhelmed, you fall into old habits, you start to make decisions that don't quite make sense because you're tired. And that's why I emphasize rest and the importance of rest, because it keeps your brain sharp and it keeps you focused and it keeps you in the eye of being the CEO of your business, not just a worker in your business. So the R's that I want to go over are recognize, reflect, reset, release, and recharge. Okay. So first is recognize. When you are experiencing something that is, pulling you from your center, you have to be able to recognize that. And a big part of being able to recognize that is being, which the next one is being very reflective. And what I mean by that, because I'm going to get into reflect after, but what I mean by that is we also have to, as entrepreneurs, we work on the business and we work on our skill set. We have to work on ourselves. We have to work on ourselves. When you are an employee, you get evaluated and people, tell you these are your strengths and these are the things you need to work on. And, how well you are, working within the team and all this stuff like that. There's somebody that is giving you feedback on that. As a business owner, we need to be in tune with that ourselves. And that's why, it's very important to have a coach. to have a community that sees those things for you as well, because sometimes we don't always see it for ourselves. Sometimes it takes someone else saying something to us to help us to see something. But we have to be doing that self work, because when you do that self work, you can recognize. So, in this particular instance, recently, when things were starting to get busy and, I felt a little bit off my mark, and I was just like, yeah, I felt like I was, working but not thinking, and, but I realized that, and I was able to adjust midstream because I recognized it. But if I had not done a lot of the self work that I've done over the years, I wouldn't have been able to recognize it. There have been many times in my business where I set myself up to be overwhelmed. I booked too much. I just took everything on, and I did not recognize what I was doing to myself. So that's the first step, is being able to recognize it. And again, I was midstream and I'm like, wait, this don't feel right. This is off. Something is off. Okay, what's going on? So from recognize, I was able to reflect. I was able to take a moment, sit down and say, okay, so I know it's busy right now and it hasn't been super busy, on this level in a while. So I know that it's busy, but that's not it. It's something else that's happening right now. Excuse me. So I was able to reflect, and I was able to, once I was able to reflect and look at what was in front of me, then I was able to reset. So once I reflected and I looked at, okay, wait, your business is set up a certain way so that you can run the business, do business, but you can also do the other things in your life that you enjoy and that you value. And one of those things was, being there for my son and his events. And so I had to make some sacrifices in that situation, which I knew. I was aware, I said, okay, well, I'm going to spend half the day on this day doing this, and then I'll go to the second half of his event on that day. I spend a full day with them on that Saturday. And then, like, just not thinking, one of the clients from Friday was like, well, can you do this for me on Saturday? And I was just like, yeah, I can do that. Not thinking, because I was tired. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh, wait, no. If I do that, then that's going to just further this tiredness. And I knew I had a big event on Sunday. So I'm like, that's just gonna set me up to be even more worn out. And so in that moment, I was able to adjust or reset, which is the next one. I was able to reset, and I was able to take a moment back. I have a colleague here, reached out. I knew she was already doing some stuff on Saturdays. So I was like, hey, do you want this job? And I don't mind doing that in my business. Like, a lot of people say, well, that's money out of your business. I believe in abundance. I run my business in that way. I don't mind referring to someone else, because if that's what needs to happen for me to do and be where I need to be, I'm cool with that. So it didn't, ultimately, it's not like it hurt my bottom line. I still, had a great week, financially. So you have to be willing to be open to that. You can't be so tight fisted in your business that you are going to, kind of, you know, tie a weight around your neck just because you're trying to get that revenue. You have to build your business in a way that your revenue and your rest don't conflict with each other. So I was able to reset, And in that reset moment, not only did I, shift that around, but just, taking a moment to, I've already sat and reflected. And now after that reflection, I know what I need to do moving forward to make this a better situation. And I shared in last week's, podcast about putting, making sure you're putting that self-care on your calendar. In that moment of reset, not only did I, shift around and get myself back focused on what my original goals were, but I also sat there and scheduled my appointments for the following week so that I could then be able to recharge. And so I'm skipping ahead because release is next. So in that moment, that reset was not just resetting that one thing, it was resetting, you know, that, and also setting up these appointments, but also that reset is about having a teachable moment. That reset is taking what you're learning in the process and using that to better your process moving forward. Because we're always refining our processes so that we're doing it easier and easier and easier. Because as we learn things, we need to be implementing those things in a way that makes it easier. And just, a little bit of a tangent, but I see all of the time business owners on social media fussing about something repeatedly. Oh, customers keep fill in the blank, or I keep running into fill in the blank. And I understand the vent and I understand the things, because there are certain things that it's like, oh my God, like really? But what I want you to do in those moments is reset. I want you to figure out, what is it that I need to be doing differently? Not that you're doing anything wrong, but obviously there's some disconnect somewhere. So, what do I need to be doing differently that this thing is not a thing anymore? That, I was working on a particular job and it wasn't going, according to plan, and I had to, pivot, but I didn't leave it just at that pivot. So then we had a conversation. Okay, so what is it that we could have did differently that would have made this situation go better? And how can we make sure that we're not in this situation again? So that's what that reset is all about, making sure that you're taking every lesson that you can from the situation, making sure that you're making adjustments so that you can move forward in a better way. And then release. I think this is a very, very big one, because we hold stuff. We hold stuff, and when you don't realize it, when you're carrying that, you're carrying extra weight with you. You're carrying this thing that already is it's finished. You're done. Release it. You've adjusted. You have a solution moving forward. The situation is over. Release it, because the longer you're holding on to it, the longer you're carrying that energy, that anxiety, that stress, everything that went along with that situation. You're carrying that. Release it. Let it go. The sooner you let it go, the sooner you can get back to happier things, fun things, let it go. Just, we have to learn how to let go. And then the last one, once we've let it go, recharge. Recharge, because now you've learned the lesson, you've let it go. You are ready to get back in the game and go strong, because you got you got new information. You have like information is empowering. So now you have this new information for how you can make this better in the future. So now you can move forward, and you know that it's not going to be like it was last time, because you have reset. And you're not even thinking about how it was last time, because you've released. The reset is maintaining that part that's important for you moving forward. The release is letting go of all the rest of it because it's not serving you. So that's how I go through the process of, maintaining and staying centered, even though life is not, life doesn't always go how you want it to go. Things don't happen the way you want them to happen. And typically, at the moments that that you are really, at a height is when there's all kind of other stuff that happens around you. But you have to learn how to be centered in those situations and those environments and not let those things overcome you. And that comes from having an abundance of confidence of who you are and what you're doing. And that goes back to understanding your why, understanding what your plan is. What is your strategic plan? What are you trying to accomplish? The better that you have those types of understandings, the less that you have things that can come into your business and knock you off your block and shake you to your core because your core is solid. Your core is solid. And if you think about, like, if lately here we've been having these tornadoes. I don't know what that's about. But if you think about, you know, if you have, something that is lightweight, something that doesn't have, a foundation or a grounding, that thing, when the wind comes through, that thing is going to blow around in every different direction. We planted a bunch of stuff recently and there's supposed to be severe weather today. So I have to go and pick up all of the little planting pots or whatever, because, our good friend Walter, he loves to put them all over the yard. So I have to go pick those up because severe weather's coming through today. Those things are already blowing in the wind. But we have, these huge paver bricks and stuff like that that we use for weighing down balloon decor. And those things are not going to move. It's going to take an awful lot for those things to move. And that's how you have to become in your business. You have to be so grounded that it takes an awful lot to shake you. But that starts with having a deep understanding of who you are and who your business is and what you stand for, and having clarity on that, because a lot of times we just kind of are moving haphazardly, but we have to have that clarity on that and that foundation. And that foundation is what's going to keep you going in those moments when you're feeling a little off center. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I will see you next week with another episode. If you are looking for a business coach or a coaching program to help you figure out what that center is, what that grounding is, go to my website, coachdannyd.com, and the link will be in the comments. I mean, in the description. But go there, sign up. I'm about to do another round of my luxury brand 6-week intensive, so you can find that on the website and you can sign up and you can start getting that understanding, because we go through it all. We go through the parts about you and who you are, what you want out of your business. We go into who that client is, what they look like, where they are, how do we get in touch with them, how do we connect to them in a very meaningful way, your systems and processes that help you to be able to profit in those pajamas, and strategic planning. So having a plan of action of how you're going to move forward. So that's all covered in the 6-week intensive. And feel like it's truly foundational for your business. So if that's something that you're needing, if you feel like you're getting shaken off your block a little bit more than you are liking, then that's going to be a perfect fit for you. So you can go to coachdannyd.com and you can sign up for the next round of that boot camp. Also, there's just so much information there on the website, digital products as well. And follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram and on Facebook so that you can, get all of the gems in between podcast episodes, sharing a lot of information about business growth, mindset on the Instagram and Facebook page. And you can join our first Facebook community and be a part of the workflow community. So, again, see you guys next week with another episode of the Profits in Pajamas podcast. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at coachdannyd.com.